who here is not thought about purpose? Like their purpose in life. Anyone here who's never thought about purpose? Okay, anyone here who thinks about purpose like maybe every day? Yeah, yeah. Maybe once a week, the thought crosses your mind. At least, yeah. At least you'll say. It's not an alien subject, right? Generally, what do we think about purpose? And when we ask people, what's your purpose? Generally, what's the time span you're trying to define? I like the word afterlife because that makes us question what life is, right? Call it the afterlife, but we have zero idea what life is. We just assume the fall of the body is the end of life. Isn't that an assumption? Big assumption, because we don't have any scientific instruments through which we can measure it. There's lots of evidence in terms of near-death experience. There's a lot of experience in terms of out-of-body experience. Scientists, doctors have done this. There is a lot of evidence in terms of reincarnation, medical evidence. Enough to say that there is something about us that stays beyond the demise of the body. Enough to hit that. What I wanted to pick from the theme of reincarnation is that let's assume for a few moments that maybe there is such a thing as reincarnation. Maybe we come again and again and again, and maybe we've been here in the past. Maybe there's a bit of both, right? It's a possibility. Anyone here willing to consider that possibility? It's a possibility that we've been here, right? So if we've been here before and we're going to come back here again, what then? How would you then define your purpose? Tell me, what do you think? In this life, my purpose is to be a tennis player, or my purpose is to be a nurse, or what if I'm coming back and then back and then back? And what if the poor people are going to become the rich people are going to become the poor people? Like, chances are, let me give you the science of reincarnation a little bit. I'm going to give you some detail into it. I won't go so much into trying to convince you about it. I'm just going to give you some details from the Vedic knowledge, just so we can have a discussion about purpose, not because I want to talk about reincarnation. Does that make sense? I'm just giving you a little bit. Little bit is an example, for example, that if you spend your entire life hating a certain country or community or people or whatever, or a person, anything. So what happens? Your whole consciousness is absorbed in not this, not this, not this, not this, not this, right? Not this. What happens at the time of death? Karmena divya netrena yantra rudrani maya. That at the time of death, based on your karma and based on divine supervision, yantra, you get a different yantra, different body. You know? So if your absorption all your life, you know, at the time is about a certain community and hate for that, what are the chances? Where are you going to be born? Huh? Correct. Because your consciousness is going to is in that direction. Say you spend your entire life inflicting violence on a certain species or something like that. Where do you think you're going to go? Because we only see that I throw this down, this falls down. But we don't see that when we look at him and I wish him bad, what it does to me. I don't see that. So we as a community and as individuals as in a community, and I have created science. And the purpose of science is to reduce everything to objective, measurable things. But what about the things that you cannot measure? What about that? Let me put it like this. You can measure the effect of them. Microscopic world that we actually try to access, that we think we see electrons. You think, right? Like scientists have seen electrons, right? Nobody's seen it. You can't see it. Electrinos, neutrinos, you can't see these things. It's all a matter of faith. It is faith in the unseen. Did you know that? And so we have this blind faith that science is about things you can objectively measure. But you see a whole planet of people disturbed by mental health issues. You see a whole planet of young generation completely dissatisfied. Isn't that an effect of the assumptions we have made? Why can't we see it? You see, it's like blind faith. We're like totally blinded. We're convincing ourselves to see a certain sense. There's so much about science that is also unseen. It's all faith. But tell me one thing, is it, other than pride, is it anything that makes us believe that if I can't see it and the scientist here cannot see it, it doesn't exist? Why do we believe something like that? Tell me, what do you think? What do you think? Yes? Can't see it, it doesn't exist. Right, that's it, right? Right? So why do we live with the belief that there is no life on any other planet? Why do we live with the belief that we are the only species in this universe? Why do we live with the belief that this is the only universe? Srimad Bhagavatam opens you up to a whole different reality. It explains the science of reincarnation such, like, there's not only, you don't only just live on this planet, you can be born in any planet within this universe. You can be in another universe. There's so many realities. There's not one hell, there's not one heaven. There is so many hellish planets. There is so many heavenly planets, and there's so many middle planets. Hellish, and even on Earth you can see hellish conditions. And even on Earth you can see heavenly conditions. Heavenly planet kind of experience here. And even in the, like in these different planets and these different times, you can see a little bit of a trace of the other. So the universe is way more different, way different from what we think it is. I'm giving you this thing so you can actually think about purpose in a different way, right? I'm not getting into today into like the science of reincarnation. I'm just giving you some tidbits. Here's another reincarnation fact. Not only are you not, like, if, say for example, if you're a human right now, it's not necessary you're a human in your next life. If you spend your entire life killing and cooking animals, why would you be a human? You have all that karma to settle with all those animals. They got to get a chance to kill you too and eat you like that. Because karma, nothing escapes karma. Like, when someone does something bad to you, then you feel like karma will get that person, right? But do you ever look at your dinner plate at that time? You don't, right? We're so sterile at it. That person, what about the little baby who was separated from the mother? There's so many, I was telling to you about I was like, Instagram is full of videos of cats, dogs, pandas, hippos, like, right? That's one part of it, like animal videos. And the other part is people eating animals on dinner plates, recipes and menus. And no one can see the connection between the two. So what do you think is going on? It's called ignorance. And because we are ignorant doesn't mean the reality doesn't exist. If I choose to see this is not fire and I put my foot in it, do you think the fire won't burn me? It will burn me. Totally. I can argue all I want and throw all the attitude and the style, but as soon as I go near the fire, it will burn me. The same way, whether you believe it or not, whether you understand it or not, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, living entities are everywhere, sarvagata, everywhere. And Krishna also explains that you are born in the highest, you're born from the highest planetary system, Abhramano Bhuvano Loka, Punar Avartino Arjuna, from the highest planetary system to the lowest planetary system. From the best body of Brahma, who's the chief architect of this universe, to the lowest body of the Indragropa, who's the tiniest microscopic organism in this universe. You go through all the different bodies. You're not just, and it's not like you're born as a dog and that's it. You're born in all the different species of dogs, and all the ants, and all the cockroaches, and all these species. After all these 8.4 million species, you come in human form of life. And now the question is, what's your purpose? Because this form is not eternal. This form has a purpose. Human form of life has a purpose. Can you think about this for a second? You by yourself in the social media world, trying to make an impact and somehow or other become an influencer that somebody likes, and something like that, right? And in that way you think through this posting and posting and posting, when you become famous and an influencer, then you'll discover who you are. Something like that. Many people carry this idea. Can you see a trace of that in your own consciousness? Am I completely off? This world, people are feeling more and more, I need to know my purpose. Because everything else is changing around me. I need to know who, like, why am I here? And then the chicken's not dealing with existential crisis, but you're dealing with that because you have higher consciousness. You have a different body. Try and understand. You can't live happily like a cat or a dog. It's impossible for you. The cat or the dog has a completely different body from yours. Their body comes with a certain level of ignorance, animal body, comes with a certain level of ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the self. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have a soul, but that body comes with a very covered up consciousness. Human body comes with fully developed consciousness. But we are choosing to not use that consciousness, the energy of the soul. We're choosing to live like cats and dogs. You understand that? Why do I say you're choosing to live like cats and dogs? Am I trying to insult somebody? No. Cats and dogs, all they care about is ahara nitra bhayamaitanascha. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending themselves. That's it. And we as human beings are doing the same thing. Eating, barely, right? Barely manage enough money to eat healthy. If you can afford organic something, like she got us organic salad from the Whole Foods, right? If you can afford that once a week, it's a great luxury, isn't it? Sleeping, dogs can sleep better than us. So many people suffer from insomnia. So many people. Mating, let's just not go into how the relationship scene is for people. I'm not even getting into that scene. Right? And defending. Just look at the amount of your taxpayer money that goes towards defense. Energy and efforts are going in 4 directions: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We're living animal life in human body. But we're not going to be satisfied living an animal life in human body because you're in a human body. Like, you see, can you treat a cat and a dog the same? Dog needs a bit more emotional, this thing, right? Cat's kind of like, just on their own. This different body. What the dog's satisfied with, cat won't like it. What the cat's satisfied with, dog can't handle it. You understand? So similarly, you are different. Like a plant. You just give it water and leave it. It doesn't need your emotional attention all the day long. But you can't, can I treat you like that? Here's some water for you and that's it. No, she needs more. Different bodies need different things to be fully functional and satisfied. So you have this body. Now, and you have so many times you've come here and gone. Now tell me, what is your purpose? Now think about purpose. Take the full picture into account. See, everyone wants to live authentically because that's all. Kind of people are not saying it, but I can see it. It's like nothing's stable. Emotions, relations, nothing is stable. Job. Let me find my purpose because that will bring me stability. As the whole world changes, I'll have my path to walk on, isn't it? And when we start trying to look for purpose, what do scientists say? Have you ever tried to use a scientific method to try and look for purpose? There's a bunch of different models. One is, what are you passionate about? Right? Second circle, what drives your economic engine? Third circle, what are you best at? And the overlap of these 3, that's your purpose. It's top-notch analysis. You're thinking, what are you passionate about, and what drives your economic engine? How many people can get these 2 to match? How many university grads are able to get these 2 to match? Why do I have to be the best? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why do you have to be the best? Have you felt that pressure of being the best or really good? Have you ever asked yourself, why do you have to be the best? Where did this idea come from? A planet of like 7, 8 billion people, 10 billion. How many people on this planet? Country of 330 million, right? How can everybody be the best? How many can be best? How many professions are there? Maybe 1,000, 2,000 professions? What more than that? I'm just throwing it out there. So each profession has one person who is the best. What about the rest? The meaning, their existence is meaningless, purposeless? What do you think? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's missing in these models. Let me not answer that question. Let me ask you guys, open the floor for you guys to tell me. What do you think is wrong with these models? What do you think is missing in these models? Do they know you? If they truly knew you, why do they cry around your body when you're dead? The body is still there. I was there yesterday too, and day before too. Why are they crying around it? They're missing someone who's not there, but they never recognize the person who was in the body. So all those people who know you well, do they really know you well? Can you know someone well when you don't know yourself? You have an idea about people. We take the world through a filter. I'm sitting here, I'm giving a class, right? I'm talking about something, right? Everybody in this room, if I ask everyone to write down what they took away from this class, every answer would be different. We take the world, Atmavat Manyate Jagat, we see the world the way we are. If we have this angle of, like, I've been tortured, we'll see everyone's every statement like that. If we have this angle of, I am the center of the world, I'll see everything as like a set like that. So it depends on where your consciousness is at. So let me ask you again, with these models of purpose that I said, what is wrong? What do you think is wrong? I'll pause, I'll wait for you. Start taking us towards a lot of things that we're talking about are goals. They are tasks or goals, or maybe big tasks. Purpose is a bit different than that. Purpose doesn't, tasks may fail, goals may be lost. This is a lesson I learned in a very hard way. You may or may not achieve your goals, but your purpose is that which always stays the same. So now we're starting to enter the realm of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And before we go there, the dictionary definition of purpose is the reason for which something exists, right? That is dharma. Now, often dharma is confused as religion, but that's not what it is. Dharma means the very true nature of the thing. So real purpose, I'll give you the symptoms of real purpose. Real purpose is that which does not change with time. When I was little, I was passionate about astronomy. Then at a certain time, I became very passionate about finance. At another point in time, I became very passionate about gardening. And then I was very passionate about, and this lasted many years. And then many, like, very passionate about painting or something. So our passions can change. Isn't it true? Because today you love one person, you're passionately in love, and then tomorrow it's another person. So it's not a big scientific argument. It's like your passions can change. Your purpose is that does not change. Flickering of mind does not change. Purpose means the reason for which you exist. So think about it like that. Purpose is that which ties together all, like you were saying, talking about equality of human beings, right? Purpose is that which actually brings us together. But intellectually, physically, financially, we're all in a different space. We all have a different karmic balance. We all have a different bank balance. We have a different body, different suffering for us. But purpose should be that ties us all together. And now we're starting to get into some real discussion. And purpose is that which losing your job doesn't take away. So you have to start really, and purpose is that if you're born on this planet, or you're born on another planet, or you are 2 years old, 92 years old, you're in your next life, it should not change. Now you think about what is purpose. Totally changes the game. Passionate about filmmaking in this life, next life you're passionate about cooking food, I don't know, something else. So passions change. Purpose should not change like that. It's not something so fleeting. So then Srimad Bhagavatam starts to explain dharma. Dharma means that which does not change. It's your eternal nature. Like if you have salt, it's salty. If it's a white powder and it's not salty, it's not salt, it's something else. Sugar. So if you see, I say this is sugar on the cinnamon bun and you taste it and it's salty, you're like, it's not sugar. So just because it's a white powder doesn't mean the sugar's nature is sweetness. Salt's nature is saltiness. Our nature, human beings, living entities, we are ready for it. Nature is to serve. We are always serving.
The only debate is who to serve. Idea of myself is that
You look exactly like details. What?
that I am a girl. Everyone can see this drawing? My idea of myself is that I am a girl. So this is called Sambandha Gyan. Who am I? Sambandha Gyan. My idea is I am a girl. Okay? So when I am a girl, what is my prayojan or goal? To get a correct. Get a boy. I'll give him some here too. So now I want a boy. Because I am a girl and that's my idea of myself, I want a boy. I'm just picking it up just as an example. I'm not making any, judgments about anyone's values or anything like that. Now, Sambandha Gyan, Prayojan, my goal is this. Now, how do I go about achieving it? This is called Prayojan. Based on your values, based on your idea of what's right and wrong, what are different things you can do to get a boy? Your Sambandha Gyan is that you're a girl, so then your Prayojan is that you want a boy. Mm-hmm. And based on your values and your, what your idea of right and wrong is, you might abduct the person, or you might try to serve the person, or you might try to, seduce the person, or whatever, based on what your value system is. Two, now they are together. So now, what is their idea of themselves? What's the Sambandha Gyan now?
Like husband and wife.
So they are a couple, right? So now their idea of self is, I am a couple. So when the Sambandha Gyan changes, my idea of who I am changes, now what's the Prayojan? What do they want?
Prayojan, what does Prayojan mean?
Your objective, your goal. Yeah, so what do you want next?
Babies.
Let's say baby. Someone might say money. So we can look together. But anyways, let's say, my God, I still want to butcher a baby. All right, let's imagine there's a baby drawn here, okay? Let's just do that. So you get a baby here, right? So now you're a couple, your goal is a baby. So that's the way you go about doing it, depends on your value systems, and that's your abhidheya, that's your process you take on. So what I'm trying to show you is that as your knowledge of the self changes, your prayojan changes. What you want in life changes. And your abhidheya, the way you go about doing it, also changes. That means what we want is dependent on our idea of who we are. What if our very base software is corrupted? We don't know who we are. When we don't know who we are, we go about wanting a lot of different things. Which is why Rishabdev in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto, he says to his sons, he's a king of the planet, and he's saying to his sons, gives them very important advice. He says, Naham deha bhajam riloke kashtan kama arhati shadbhujam. He says, this naham deha, like if you have this material body, human body, you don't waste that time in materialistic activities, in pursuing matter. Don't waste human body, because that can be done in any species of life. Anybody can have children. Anybody can build a house. Anybody can make a living. Anybody can have food. It's not the purpose of human life. Tapo divyam putraka yena shuddheta sattvam. He explains that the purpose of human life is tapo divyam. Engage in tapasya. Engage in tapasya means you restrain yourself. You were talking about people being, everybody being equal, getting whatever we want, everything makes sense. I'll tell you one thing very clearly. Without sense control, you can't go too far in life. When your senses are not, even materially, look out, and if you don't have control over your mind and senses, which includes like all kind of indulgences, including sitting on your phone, watching TV all day, or like eating, drinking, no discrimination in what you eat, drinks. If your habits are out of control, you don't rise as high as your dreams. You fall as low as your habits. Just remember this point. All this esoteric talk, all this spiritual vibe is no good if you can't change your habits. One has to start with groundwork. And basic thing as character building has to start. Character building has no meaning beyond. The first step is yama and niyama, yoga ladder. Things you do and things you don't do. And if you have no such boundaries in life, you're not going very far. Everyone's dealing with the same problem, rich or poor, uncontrolled mind and senses, for the same few activities that dogs and cats can do. Without sense control is just cheating yourself. From, am I willing to listen to anything from anybody? Or am I just coming for a conversation? Am I at the point where, Krishna and Arjuna, anyone, you're reading the Bhagavad Gita? A little bit? The Bhagavad Gita? Little bit? You see in the beginning of it, Arjuna is like having this conversation. This isn't right and that isn't right and this doesn't sound. He's having a conversation. And Krishna is quiet. He doesn't say anything. He's just following what he says. But then Arjuna changes his attitude. He says, you know what? Darpanya dosha pahata swabhava prichami tvam dharma samudachera. He says, I am miserable. I don't know what's going on. My bow is slipping. I'm anxious. Pahata swabhava. I don't know what's going on. I don't think I can figure it out on my own. Prichami tvam. I'm asking you now. He's clearly saying, I am asking you. Yat shreyastvam. He's saying, whatever you think is right. Bruhitam me. Shishyasteham. I am your shishya. I am your student. Mam tvam prapanam. I am surrendering to you. I am asking you. You tell me what is right for me. It requires a few things. Willingness to listen. Ready to inquire. This is a big deal. In our life, when we come to this point, you tell me what I can do. I'm willing to listen. It's a big deal. It takes humility. I don't know what's going on. I'm willing to listen. Tell me what to do and I'm going to try it out. So that is what is needed in our life.